Hey, I want to welcome everybody. We're into our last hour, and it's my pleasure to have the guys from EIG Solar. EIG stands for Energy Independence Group. Solar is just one aspect of how they accomplish that. Les, Neil, how are you guys?
Doing great. Doing great. Yeah.
Business is good.
Business is better than ever.
We're in Bakersfield, so that kind of makes sense.
It's hot. Going to be hot here soon. Soon enough.
And this is a good time to think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been real excited. You know, we had that big tree in our backyard that was putting stuff into my pool, and I was having to run my motor all the time, trying to get it cleaned out. I'm not having to run it hardly at all anymore. So I'm real excited because I added my solar and we put the patio on. I mean, you guys did a terrific job. We were just so excited. And this will be our summer where we really get to enjoy that patio this year. So that's going to be great. But you guys got some new things going on. There's some new technologies. You guys are actually going to introduce some stuff into this area. And I'm one of the reasons I'm excited about having you on the program today is because this will be the first opportunity that people are going to have to listen to what innovative things are coming and what you're doing about them.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited. Last year, Bakersfield, Kern County, California, we'll say, experienced something new with these the blackouts. We went from accomplishing no brownouts, right, with thanks to solar.
Right.
You know, when was the last time we had a brownout, right? You know, every third, fourth house has solar. So once we got through that, now we have the wind and the PG&E and the fires and what is all that causing? For the last 4 or 5 months, we've been doing nothing but basically focusing on the solutions for the Central Valley and these fires and what they're causing PG&E to do and how that affects business owners, how it affects homeowners, how it affects people that may be living in housing that are on medical devices, anything like that.
Look, we can't be without our electricity. We
No.
just can't. I mean, that's
Not here.
if you start with that premise that okay, there's going to be interruption in everybody's electricity in the future until something either legally or legislatively happens, and they say okay. The fires be damned, turn on the electricity,
Right.
which I don't see happening for quite a while. So with that as the premise, what can we do about it?
Well, we've got some solutions. We'll be bringing a great solution to our market. We'll be the first ones in the area to have this, and it's short-term solutions and long-term solutions. So
Okay.
I'll let Les talk about. He's over here just chomping at the bit because this is very exciting. This is something he's been in the.
Well, he's the techie of the two.
Oh
of you.
yeah, he's been in it longer than I have.
He can get into the meat and potatoes and really dissect it.
Yeah, we've been thinking about this a lot. So that being said, Les will explain this new technology.
Let's take it away.
To summarize it, we're in a point in time where you have the choice to run your home or your business without the utility. If you should choose, if you need to, you have the power of choice.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're excited to bring to the market is a technology called Ensemble. Ensemble is like an orchestra. It's moving parts, moving pieces, musicians, beautiful technology working together to provide energy independence for you and your home and energy security. It's advanced technology. It's super exciting to offer, but really what it boils down to is you have the choice now to run your home with or without the grid. You can be the utility and you can declare true energy independence if you use the Ensemble technology by Enphase and Energy Independence Group.
Is that why Enphase's stock is going out a little bit on the crazy
Well,
side?
let me say I was a little happy to invest at 87 cents. You know where it's at now?
This one I'll tell you, it's 9. No,
It's been up and down, but it's been over 30 something.
I was going to say, no, it's actually 30 because I got it at, I did an option on it. So.
Oh, hey, we're
Yeah,
all
right.
making money on Enphase. Well,
Enphase-
let's all power our homes through Enphase. How about that?
You have now answered the question as to why, because I couldn't find that much on Enphase as to why they're talking about their earnings and things like that. And it's like, yeah, but they've had a huge increase in the.
Well, since we're talking
Right.
about it, Enphase Energy is the original company to invent the microinverter. The microinverter is
What you have
Is
on your
what-
house.
which
is
is
what you have. Yeah. It's what we've
You
been.
went from a macro
Yeah.
inverter to a micro that
Right.
actually attaches onto each one of the panels.
Energy Independence Group has installed nothing but
Micros.
Enphase microinverters, and the
Wow.
reason is because we've been aware of the technology and the patents that they have for years.
And
this-
it's just
what
a-
we're offering today.
it's a
what we're
better
here-
product.
What we're here to bring to Kern County has been in the making for over a decade. It's been years in the making, and right now you can sign up. You can declare energy independence. You can pre-order your in-charge system. You can get basically what we have called a smart switch. It's an in-charge smart switch, and it comes with, you can get a battery for it. You can plug a generator into it. You can maybe plug an electric car into it. You can do a lot of things. There's a lot of options, and it's basically freedom of energy. It's going to
Okay.
switch you off from the utility when the utility is no longer there. So safely, securely, you can run your home. You can run your business or whatever if you have the setup right with this system. So it just
Let me
disconnects.
ask the setup right.
Mhm.
Right now, I increased my capacity so that you know we're at parity. We should be at parity now. I've got enough cells up on the roof and getting the kind of power where I'm not going to have a bill at the end of the year. Am I based on what you just said? Do I need to increase the number of panels, or
No,
can
so
I get that
so
independence
you have your
based on what I have?
your annual energy use and you have your short-term energy use. So
Okay.
annually, solar has been designed for annual production, net
Mm-hmm.
metering, right? But net metering is eventually going to be obsolete. And in the meantime, when you have power outages, what are you going to do? Even if you have a net metering agreement, PG&E has been the battery and a reliable one up to this point. And I say PG&E, but the utility companies in general, the electric companies, and their hands are tied, like we talked about the last time we were on the show. This is a solution that works for homes, businesses, communities, farmers, for society to overcome the challenges of our energy system. It's not just a solution; it's a revolutionary one.
Well, you know, it sounds almost like the legislature should be looking at this and saying, gosh, you know, it would be nice if, with this kind of energy independence and you're not having to run lines, that you know, PG&E would be at less of a.
There's a lot of
liability.
environmental impact
Sure.
that happens when you take transmission lines across the desert, and there's a lot of endangered species. There's a lot of roadblocks. But if we use this technology right, the Enphase Ensemble technology, it's got grid forming capabilities, which means that you can form a grid right there in your home and your community. You'll be able to sell electricity eventually to your neighbor through a system that's being worked on, an energy management system, in addition to a financial model for energy to be sold and distributed from person to person instead of utility to person.
Are you the only guys offering this? I mean,
We will be the only people offering this in this area who have the ability and the training and the partnerships and the long-term strategy to make this happen right here in Kern County to the fullest level. So if you want it to happen and you want this technology, you should definitely call us.
Okay, now, one of the other things that we've always talked about is solar is just one of the components of making sure that your electricity is you can gain that independence, but also looking inside of where your electrical use is. I mean, that's still something you guys will walk through and help people with.
Yeah. So those concepts still are going to remain. What's different is that now there's going to be added technology with battery generation and being able to do more generation than just solar. Like we said earlier, you might be able to plug in a generator. Eventually, vehicle to grid or vehicle to home technology with the cars will come into effect.
And you may see what it boils down to is there's a switch. It switches off your home from the grid when the power goes down, and inside of that switch is going to be fed by either your solar, a battery, a generator, or some other source.
Sure.
And so the Ensemble technology it seamlessly picks the best source of power.
Oh, okay.
Based on what's available, or maybe based on what costs more, what costs less. So it's a seamless transition from what energy source you have, and one of those energy sources is the utility company. But if it's not there, it won't matter. You'll have multiple choices to feed your switch, to feed your home, and to have independence. And solar is a big part of that, but it's not the only part necessarily. You have to factor the whole energy management system in.
All of the above.
Yep.
All of the
Yeah.
above. We got to take a break. We're going to be right back. We're talking with Neil and Les from EIG Solar. You guys like to kind of spread that out? Now, is it EIGsolar.com that people go?
Yeah,
to find you guys?
EIGsolar.com, that's right.
Okay.
And Energy Independence Group is who we are, but it's kind of a long name to spell on a website.
Yeah, we don't want to confuse people. So we're going to be right back. This is the Terry Maxell Show here on KNZR, AM 1560, FM 97.7. If you want to call and talk to one of these guys, give us a call, 399-1560. The first thing we want to tell people, because it's really important, you'll want to listen a little bit more intently, is that Energy Independence Group has got an offer that they're putting together. This is new technology. This is something that's going to set the world on fire, and they want to give my listeners a great opportunity to be kind of your first on the block to start saving money and get that energy independence, because we're all fearful of what could happen in the future with electricity kind of going bye-bye on us.
Right, so Enphase is available from other contractors, but if you want the leading cutting edge strategies and equipment in partnership with us and Enphase, you're going to get the best training and the best service from us, in our opinion. And we've been leading the way with Enphase. A lot of people are competition. They use SolarEdge. They use a lot of other inverters and technology that are not as good. We've been the leaders with Enphase, so if you need it, you would call us. But what we have to say on the exciting part and the special offer here is we will offer you what's called an Enphase InCharge Smart Switch with your installation for all Terry Maxell listeners. So what we're talking about, the technology and the main component to this whole new energy revolution is going to be the Enphase InCharge Smart Switch. Mm-hmm. So what we're offering your listeners is for us to include an Enphase InCharge Smart Switch with every installation. If they mention the Terry Maxell Show, if they call today and set up an appointment with Sheila at our office, 661-868-9000 today, we will include, you can get it included in your system, because right now you have to pre-order them. We'll make plans, permit it, and get it ready for you, for your energy independence, and you will be one of the first people in the country to have the Enphase InCharge Smart Switch and the Ensemble energy technology.
Well, that switch goes for what, about $2,000?
That's just the components. That's before electrical installation. That's before setting it up. That's basically it's a great deal. It's a great deal, but it's really, even if for the customers who are going to pay for it, it's a great deal when you think about what it costs you when power goes out.
I think we all are under the impression, before this thing happened with PG&E and the possibility of us losing our electricity at any given moment, people were putting in solar to reduce their costs, because I'd rather pay for my solar and in 6 or 7 years it's completely paid off, and every day after that I'm making money. I'm putting money in my pocket rather than having to pay it to PG&E, and I mean that's the exciting part about it. But now that we've had this problem and people are not sure what kind of electrical service they're going to get in the future, this really is the major change, or it's the linchpin into making sure that you can be energy independent regardless of what happens with PG&E or anybody else. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, so the great thing about this system and what Enphase is doing, and talk about customer service.
Right.
This company is incredible when it comes to customer service. Not only if, look, they've replaced, out of the 5 years that more longer than 5 that we've been really pushing.
Since we've only offered Enphase.
Yeah, since we've only offered Enphase, I think we've replaced 1 or 2. We order it, it's boom, it's in the mail, it's done. There's no questions asked.
They're a Six Sigma oriented company where failure is minimal. But in addition to that, for those who already have Enphase, and this is an exciting thing we're offering, is that we've been selected by Enphase to replace your older inverters to be grid forming inverters. Basically, we can come back to your home if you already had it, because millions of inverters have already been installed across the country. We can replace those for you with the latest, greatest that are capable of having that grid forming technology. So if you have Enphase already, and in fact you have already got it, Terry, we installed for you what you need. We just have to add a few components to your home. So if you have Enphase, it may only take a few components installed by us to do what we're talking about, to actually keep the power always on.
Okay, now one of the things that we were talking about was during the nighttime, It's going to have a battery pack, depending upon how much electricity you use. We'll
Or
tell
need
you,
or
yeah,
want.
we'll tell you how big your battery has to be. And those batteries they're mounted also fairly tightly onto the rest of the apparatus. Is that right?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
battery is just is an integration that you can do. They're modular too, so you have different sizes around
Okay.
10 kilowatts and 3 kilowatts. They're very modular, and so by us installing one of the smart switches, the in charge of smart switches, you'll be able to modularly add however many batteries you want,
And
any generator.
during the nighttime, when it doesn't cost you very much in electricity because that's the lowest rate, that's when you'd be charging your battery, so that if you needed that backup in the future, that smart switch would say, oh, you lost your electricity, and drain it off the battery, and it would basically go to the system that, as you said before, the system that costs the least in terms of delivering electricity. But you can deliver electricity for a long time, from what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
difference between this product and, let's say, some of the competitors that you see on TV or whatever when it comes to just a battery.
Right.
Those batteries are great batteries, but once the battery's drained, they're not able to recharge their battery. So the power is out for 3 days. Let's say the power goes out for 3 days.
And the
Well,
power
you're-
was out for 3
Yeah.
days when my wife was pregnant. We
Yeah.
live on a feeder line up to the canyon out there in Cattle King Estates, and we had no power for 3 days. And let me tell you, I knew I had to make this choice. I mean, of course, we're excited about the technology for other people, but we're doing it for ourselves too. We have no choice. I mean, a lot of people,
Right.
3 days without power,
Well, I mean,
like Bill
it's
said.
easy for me to recommend to any of my listeners to call you guys and have you come over and talk about solar, because you've done mine, and I'm thrilled with what we have gotten with ours, because it wasn't just put solar up and that was it. I mean, when Neil came over, he said, well, what about this and what about that? You really want to reduce the amount of heat coming into this room. A patio cover would be good. Put a patio on. When we started working on the numbers, it was like, well, shoot, this makes perfect sense.
Right.
Makes absolute perfect sense. So and drop a 40 or 70-foot tree.
Yeah. And that,
Even better.
yeah, we used
help
to-
me with my pool.
We used to
Yeah.
say don't cut down trees, it cools your house, but back in the day before solar really took
Yeah,
off.
that's what they were planning for, right?
But hey, Neil, you were saying the difference though between.
Oh yeah, the difference between the Ensemble setup and your traditional batteries, maybe Tesla or Sonata or whatever. Those are great batteries. They're missing the component of being able to complete the circuit for your house, if you will, in
Right.
electric terms. If you can't
That's-
charge the
that's what-
battery, what's the point of having it?
It's like
Forming
having a battery without a brain.
Yeah, it's exactly.
And
Hey,
what you're talking about is this is the brain.
You just nailed it on the head.
Yeah,
This is the brains. This is the
This is
energy
the-
management
brains.
system. This is the true smart technology that the Jetsons and everybody's been waiting for. In my view, this is Jetson technology. I mean, it sounds crazy, and I say it's revolutionary.
Well, and this is why Puerto Rico has power right now too. You know, Puerto Rico. This is happening down there. This is crucial for them.
And Enphase
Well,
owns.
that-
Enphase has like 80% of the market share there because people there care about independence and the technology they're
one of my
choosing
good
is
friends.
Enphase.
One of my good friends is Willie Rivera, and his dad lives in Puerto Rico. So yeah, and I mean, quite frankly, there's a couple of people who send me their blogs every week, and one of them comes even more often. They're financial guys. They both moved down to Puerto Rico because they said it's great here. I'm going to have to send them a note. Have you got Enphase?
Right. They may not be able to use the tax incentives over there.
Did you invest in Enphase, because
Right,
it's a
right.
great company.
Well, hey, if you invested a bunch of money, move to Puerto Rico because you're going to have a lot of taxes to pay. But you might not be able to use the solar tax credit if you don't pay any taxes in Puerto Rico.
Well, and that's the other thing. The solar
That's
tax
what
credit
it's
is still around, just
Yeah.
not as
Went down
not as
4% from 30% to 26%. But your depreciation, if you're a business owner, still is a higher percentage of that lower number. So you're kind of a wash. Plus, you know, with what we're offering, it's not just about incentives, of course, but the financials make sense. They still make sense. Right now, our focus is on how to keep businesses running when the power goes out and how to keep the lights on when your family is at home.
And that's tremendously important for
Yeah.
businesses. I mean, I had a restaurant, and the great fear was that we were going to lose our electricity in the middle of, and you know, 2 times specifically that I can remember that we lost our electricity in the middle of the evening. And I mean, the people that were in there were extremely nice, but it was in the summer also. And I tell you, it got so hot in there, and finally people just had to say, well, we got to get up and go. And That's difficult. So,
Yeah.
boy, any business people out there,
Well, all the
you have to
medical
think in
stuff,
terms.
too.
You have to think in terms of how much business do I lose, and how much would this cost me to put in, and you'd have it for the rest of the time that
Yeah.
you have your business. So
You know what my wife said
when.
when I told her about the technology, and she's very aware.
Yeah, she
She's-
said,
she's-
let's take out the
She
crap.
said,
What'd she
hey,
say
hey.
after that?
She said, hey, don't pull any Enphase stock out. I want to keep that invested. We're going to use some financing on this, right? Yes.
Wow.
No, just kidding. But she did say that she didn't ask how much it cost. She said, when can we get it?
Yeah.
And it's now. Now is the time to get it. Call us. We can get it done for you. You don't need to wait. If you wait, there'll be a long. This is going to be the highest demanded solar product in the market. Before the backlog gets 6 months out, we have access to this.
Anybody
equipment now.
Anybody listening right now? You just mentioned that you listen to the Terry Maxell Show, and you're gonna get
The free
part of that.
in-charge
Yeah.
smart switch included with your solar
The
system.
brains of the
behind.
whole thing.
It's not a battery. It's an energy management platform.
Wow.
It's Ensemble technology. We should play some orchestra music right now.
Ensemble.
So I can start singing if you want.
No.
But we'll have-
Neil.
Neil can sing.
No, I'm good on that one.
You can sing a lot better than I can. Okay, guys, we got to take one more break, and then we'll come back, kind of wrap things up, remind people about what this is and what specials that you are offering to the listeners of the Terry Maxell Show. We are talking with Les and Neil from Energy Independence Group. I'm going to start saying that instead of EIG, because it truly seems that we are finally to that point.
We're reaching that point.
You guys, I have asked you in the past about putting a battery on. You've always said, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Now I know why you kept telling me.
Don't do it yet because just wait, and the ball
Now.
is dropping.
Yeah. The green flag is out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It is.
All you
It's
gotta
go
do
time.
Don't wait for the checker flag though, because then
Don't
it'll
wait.
last,
The revolution is here.
That's right.
You got it. We're gonna be right back. This is the Terry Maxell Show here on KMZR AM 1560 and FM 97.7. Hey guys, we always tend to focus on the homeowners, because a lot of people who listen to this program, of course, are homeowners, and it's of interest to them. But we got a ton of people who have commercial property or businesses that they're going. What are you doing for them? Is this something that is effective for them?
Well, on a side note, now that you mention it, there's a lot of reasons businesses haven't done solar. A lot of it has to do with financing, and we've partnered with some financing banks and partners in the area.
Mm-hmm.
That's one reason, but one good example of what we're doing is what's called ballasted solar systems, where when you put them on the roof, they don't require any penetration. So for Brimhall mini storage off of Brimhall, right? We're doing that, and that is without any penetrations. It's beautiful. None of our competitors in the area offer that solution, and we're doing that. And so, trying to find the right solution and customizing solar is really the key for commercial properties. That being said, you really have to customize an energy management system for a business, whether you're a farm or you're cold storage or whatever it is, or a warehouse, or maybe you're just running
Or
lights.
maybe
at night.
you got a small business.
Yeah, or small
Yeah.
business. Yep.
Small office, accounting firms, things like that.
And demand charges are a big part of the problem when it comes to managing your energy and your energy costs. And so that's where we come in, and we'll do lighting, and we'll do controls and switches that can turn things on and off at the right time. And that combined with what we're excited talking about today, you could also run your business, at least not be totally shut down if you have the right technology, the right energy management system. So when we do commercial solar projects, we always use Enphase because we know it's the best, and we know that it gives you that dynamic capability to do like what we just talked about, run your business.
I can tell you for a restaurant, a few years ago, you got a flat rate for the whole day, and of course PG&E was put it through the CPUC to change that, and you got the same tiering that everybody else got, and my electricity bill was unbelievable. And so something like this would be, anybody who's got a small business that where you're running air conditioners, or you're running refrigeration units or anything like that, this would be invaluable.
Yeah, we actually we have a customer who was the subject to rate schedule nightmare.
Right.
Bill, honestly, his bill was around $500 to $600 a month.
Mm-hmm.
They switched his rate schedule, and all of a sudden now he has a $17,000 annual bill that he can't avoid because of how they just changed their rates.
They went from A1 to A10. So if you know anything about rate schedules, guys out there,
It just
gentlemen
killed 'em.
and ladies, if you know about A1 or A10 and A10 is painful for you, just give us a call.
Yeah.
We'll take care of those demand charges. There's many ways to do it, but solar is only a part. And you could at least get a free audit from us, you know.
What about
get some advice?
New construction? Is there anything special happening there with you guys?
Nothing new that we probably haven't talked about. There's their mandatory solar isn't here yet. We're still having to plumb for it on the new construction side. But the only thing in new construction would be,
Yeah, so the new construction is kind of in the midst of a government forced situation, but
Right.
the free market has a solution that's kind of maybe just not even going to need to be forced by anyone, and that's Ensemble grid forming technology by Enphase Energy, where you can form a grid with or without the utility. So for all these brand new developments, something like the Hone Ranch, they should be calling us to talk about how Enphase can power without trenching, without power lines, without environmental catastrophic. There are any environmental issues associated with building and development. A big part of them is bringing in the power, and that can be avoided with Enphase Energy.
Wow, that's fantastic. Okay, let's go over phone numbers. Phone numbers 868 9000.
And then EIGsolar.com for our people outside of Kern County, EIGsolar.com, and 661-868-9000.
Visit our Facebook. We actually we do a lot of videos, a lot of informative videos. We're trying to bring more education to the public via social media as possible.
We are announcing.
We need to have you guys back in about 3 weeks so we can remind people.
Right. And we need to have you on our show, actually. We're doing a podcast. We're forming a new educational podcast, and we'd love to have you on our show. And we're going to be bringing in some energy experts from all over the world right here to Kern County. They'll be, coming in live, satellite, and in person, and we'll be organizing some events around those experts.
Well, let's get the word out, and
Yeah.
we want to be a part of it. This radio station, KNZR, Alpha Media, and Terry Maxell Show. Want to embrace this because I just think it's so important for people to have that energy independence, for us not to be at the mercy of either the state or the PG&E. It could be that PG&E is not going to be in charge anymore. It's going to be the state. Both of those scare me. So we want to make sure that people hear this. Yeah. And the people listening today, that's great for them, but we need to get you in front of another audience on another day to talk about pretty much the same thing. So kind of get you guys back in maybe 2-3 weeks.
Sounds great.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, everybody, we're just about done for the day. This is the Terry Maxell Show here on KNZR AM 1560 and FM 97.7.